Some of the most annoying lies I continue hearing is how liberals or the so-called people on the left hate people on the right, or how they hate people in red states. They hate people in rural parts of the country. Now, I'm a West Coast guy and I've lived in LA most of my life. Over the years, I've heard liberals occasionally take jabs at conservatives in all honesty and even make jokes about conservatives as well. But I do feel that the social media and traditional news outlets tend to exaggerate how people on the left really feel about those in conservative parts of the country. Now, when they say they hate races, I can believe that. There's a lot of diversity here in California and places like New York and other liberal cities. What is strange to me is hearing right-wing pundits tell other conservatives how liberals feel about people in red states. So if you're a rational-minded person, you'd have to agree that the best source of truth in how liberals feel about people that live in conservative cities is to get it straight from the horse's mouth, which is where I come in. This is like something that I really want to help with and fill in some gaps. Usually for these type of things, I would at least dig up some numbers to back up my points. But full disclosure, I did none of that for this episode. So in all honesty, I didn't feel like it. There it is. However, there is some value in sharing my experiences of living here in a major metropolitan city that's heavily liberal and having worked in corporate America and having traveled quite a bit to other liberal cities, along with having a racially diverse group of friends and family members that I can, put my hands on. So let me run through these recycled lies that continuously get put out there. Number one, liberals don't like Southerners. No, lots of liberals are the children and grandchildren of Southerners. In the 1950s, for example, lots of men and women moved from the South to liberal states, like again, California and other cities on the West Coast, or places on the East Coast, seeking jobs and opportunity that didn't involve backbreaking labor, scorching hot weather, and racism. Some of us here in LA, for example, still talk with a Southern twang. We eat Southern food, we listen to Southern music, we practice Southern traditions, and we still have love for family members that live in the South. They visit us and vice versa. So when you think about it, if we're embracing our Southern heritage, we're in effect saying that we embrace the people that live in that region as well. This whole notion of liberals hating the South is just silly. Now, what we do truly hate is the racism that comes from the South, the Confederate flag, and the notion that minorities need to take a backseat to white people on the basis of skin color. That's just horseshit. Number two, liberals want to take your guns. No, liberals don't want to take anybody's guns. They have their own. I don't doubt that there are lots of advocates for gun reform, but in all my years of living on the West Coast, I've only met one person who openly wanted guns to be banned in this country, and that person was an Asian gentleman who was from Japan. He cited how it's illegal to own guns in places like Japan and places like Australia, and from what I understand, it helps them maintain a very low homicide rate. Off the top of my head, I can think of about 5 or 6 gun shops here in LA, and I highly doubt that the firearm industry would thrive the way it does solely by sales to conservative-minded people. What I think a lot of liberals agree on is proper background checks, limiting access to guns or of guns to mentally disturbed, and ultimately stopping those who are motivated to commit crimes like mass shootings and other heinous crimes. Number 3, liberals want to cancel Christmas. No, liberals don't want to cancel Christmas. That's horseshit. or any other holiday for that matter, what makes you think we don't like getting a few days off for work and unwrapping Christmas presents with our family and enjoying a good holiday meal? If you come to any parking lot of any shopping mall or grocery store during Christmas or like even Thanksgiving, you'll be hard pressed to find an empty parking space in a lot of these liberal states. So like right now it's December 5th and I'm already seeing people break out the Christmas lights and the ornaments and, other holiday decorations as I drive and or walk around the city. And if you're talking sports, our fans, guys especially, can't wait to get a belly full of food and watch a good professional game or some college bowl game on Christmas or New Year's or whatever. Parents here love sharing the tradition with their kids and seeing the excitement in their eyes while just before they go to bed on Christmas Eve, and then seeing that again, that same level of excitement on Christmas morning. Liberals too spend money they don't have on gifts, and they lie to their kids about Santa Claus being real, just like people in conservative states. Personally speaking, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I will take the opportunity to break bread with loved ones and family members. I won't pass that up. But again, if you're listening to some right-wing media asshole who probably doesn't have any liberal friends or any liberal family members and is looking to get their viewers fired up and angry, of course, they're going to spread these kind of lies for ratings. That, to me, is like the real definition of fake news. Moving right along. Number 4, there's a bunch of Satan-worshiping pedophiles in liberal states. Now, that part is true. Like, holy shit. No, seriously. So, in my experience, there's a small pocket of Satanists and pedophiles in liberal states. There's no doubt about that. As a young man, I remember a couple of adults being inappropriate with me in terms of filling me out to see if I was game for some kind of sexual misconduct, which is fucking gross. Thank God nothing like that ever happened to me. But I do remember some of my peers in high school, for example, share stories of having inappropriate sexual relationships with teachers and coaches, which is rather fucked up. But wait a minute. We are all aware of all the documented scandals in places like Ohio, like at Ohio State University and the state of Florida. Again, I didn't look at the data, but I don't think anybody will be surprised by the presence of, satanic worship and pedophilia in some red states. It's a human, I would say it's a disgusting human problem. It's not a partisan problem. And shit, man, Chris Hansen didn't appear on like a ton of episodes of To Catch a Predator where a bunch of grown men were caught in these stings or these operations all over the country, red and blue states. I mean, like, come on. Moving along. Number 5, liberals think all Republicans are bad people. No, we don't believe all Republicans are bad people. Only some of them. That's no joke. So if you're a racist Republican, you're being a bad person for a whole host of reasons. But we do realize that there are different kinds of Republicans. There are religiously conservative Republicans, there's fiscal Republicans, Republicans that may feel that the rest of the country has forgotten about them or don't appreciate their contributions to this country, which is a fair gripe. But what we don't like is what the Republican Party has become in the last 4 years in particular. We saw, a lot of people put party before country in a cult-like manner, and a party that took an attitude of winning at all costs over humanity. We don't like the party that puts kids in cages and sells its soul to foreign powers for personal gain while putting this country in harm's way. So, number 6, we want to move into your conservative neighborhoods, bring crime, and run it down. No. Any rational, liberal-minded person that moves into a nice neighborhood has likely chosen that area because They want the same thing that you may want. They want peace. They want safe places to walk. They want to raise their children, tend to their yards, invite their friends and family over. We've heard stupid people like Trump peddle those lies before, which is really his dishonest way of saying Black people are coming to terrorize white people. That's what it is. And this is just a maneuver to prey upon people's irrational fears of minorities. But when you think about it, it really doesn't make any fucking sense. For example, like take any upwardly mobile middle-class person that has the financial means to live, in the same neighborhood as you do, if that's where you live. Chances are these people are working professionals. They're entrepreneurs. They're small business owners. They're remote workers in some cases. How can this kind of person maintain a life where they have a steady source of income, they have good credit, they're raising kids, and carve out time to terrorize their neighbors? Like, how does that even work? You work your 9 to 5, you do homework with your kids, you entertain your spouses, you have a beer, and then you promptly start chasing joggers with a machete. Like of all the middle class people that I know, and there's a lot, they want nothing more to do after a work day or a full day of work than to rest, unwind, and to pretend not to despise their spouses as much as they really do. I mean, that's just the way it is. All right, number 7. Liberals think all people in Middle America and the South aren't that smart. Let's agree that we have dummies on both sides of the political spectrum. Some people just don't have it upstairs, man. Like what we do understand is that people from red states or in the Midwest or the South or whatever, and the South, they are what help drive this country's success when we're not being shitheads. We understand that the agricultural and manufacturing sectors, for example, are crucial to our quality of lives here in the US. And, with the food supply chain, appliances, automotive production, whatever. And again, some of us are the descendants of Southerners and Midwesterners. And we know how challenging it is to run the agricultural business as a farmer, or to transport foods if you're a trucker, and transport materials, and the commitment it takes to make thousands of products that goes to a lot of people. So why do politicians and conspiracy theorists tell these false narratives? Again, their entire position depends on those kind of lies to instill fear and anger, which sometimes leads to them getting votes and donations to their political campaigns. So look, man, at the end of the day, we got to remember that generally speaking, we all want the same thing. We want a place to live. We want money in the bank. We want safety, healthcare, and happiness. Identity politics, tribalism, and racism have one thing in common to me. It's a big red light. Like, once you get to that destination, where do you go? What's the payoff in that? And look at those that peddle the lies, and look at their history. These are the lies that the right-wing media outlets and other pundits and politicians spread because they know people will hang on to it and get angry for the wrong reason. So if this is you and you don't actually know any quality people on the left, why would you assume these things are true? It's similar to how some Muslims and some people in the LGBTQ community are demonized. If you don't really know any of these people, what does that say about you to willingly accept what is being told to you? You're taking that as the gospel. So if this is you and you really want to know how a liberal or somebody on the left feels, just ask and listen, or tune into a media network and try to objectively listen to what's being said. And I think what you'll find is that they're not that different of a human being than you are. So again, I have to encourage people, man, don't believe the hype. Take what these media outlets and what these politicians say with a grain of salt. it's just a simple case of people being manipulated because they're being told what they want to hear. It's like the confirmation bias thing, you know? Muslims are evil, they're all terrorists. Like, come on. All gay people want to molest kids. That's horseshit. You got to be an independent thinker, man. Because, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm going to say some more crazy shit, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. There's good people on the left, there's good people on the right. And I'm excluding, you know, some of these radical people on both sides who are intent on spreading misinformation, who are intent on causing destruction. There are those people. I don't feel like it's most people, but I don't know. All right, so that's what I got today. Again, if you like the content, feel free to subscribe to YouTube, the audio streaming platforms, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn. You know, if you're looking to follow me on social media, Twitter is Misconnected P, and Instagram is Misconnected Podcast. You can just Google it and you'll find it. Just search like Misconnected. So yeah, that's what I got for you. Hope you enjoyed. If you like the content, you know, click subscribe, share, tell your friends about it, all that good stuff. And if you have ideas for different episodes or content that you may want to hear, hit me up on email or social media. Email is info@themisconnected. Social media, again, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. I want to hear your thoughts. Am I right? Am I far off? Am I full of shit? Are you angry at me? Like, or do you like what you hear? Whatever the feedback may be, I want to hear it. So that's what I got. Take care, be well, take care of yourself, take care of others.